Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Rex Raptor Dinosaur Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post-Maze of Millennia. We got the Yugioh and the Hornsaurus dinosaur monsters that were used by Rex Raptor in his duel against Joey Wheeler in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Waking the Dragon series. Really awesome setup of fusion playstyle that we add into the Dino deck, being able to utilize, just being able to search out a field spell all the quicker. There's even a fun tech I added into the deck to make it more of a Rex Raptor version of the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. We're running 3 copies of Yugioh with this card. If your opponent controls 2 or more face-up monsters except wind monsters, those monsters cannot target this monster for attacks. You can only use each of the following effects of Yugioh once per turn. During your main phase, you can add 1 polymerization from your deck to your hand. If this card is banished, you can special summon it. Then you can add 1 polymerization from your graveyard to your hand. So being able just to grab back a dinosaur resource, a level 4 one at that, means we also have access to our rank 4 Xyz plays for our dinosaur summons. But the main play obviously comes down to being able to search out polymerization to fuse our Yugioh with our other dinosaur monster to be able to summon out Hornsaurus onto the field. And even if our opponent, Droll and Lockbirds, the search for the polymerization, we can just activate the field spell, so we can then get access to Lost World very easily to set up more and more of our dinosaur plays. For some of the other 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. If it's normal or special summon, you can take a dinosaur monster from your deck, either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can target another level 4 lower dinosaur on the field, destroy it to special summon 1 from your graveyard in defense. You can only use each effect of Oviraptor once per turn, but you can send cards like your Yugioh to the graveyard, have the destruction of another dinosaur monster targeting the monster on the field, to then destroy it, to then grab the monster back from the graveyard, then have the polymerization search off of this also, with another one of our 3 copies of Baby Sarasaurus. If it's destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 lower dinosaur monster from your deck. It's all about just the access to our dinosaur monsters. So once again, our main go-to play card in the deck, easy access to search this card out. And even if it's in our graveyard for the banish play of, let's say, one of our bigger monsters like Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, we can then use the banish to summon back onto the field as well. But Baby Sarasaurus is just another easy way to grab dinosaur monsters for us to use. For some of the lower numbers for the dinos, we're also running 2 copies of double-headed Dino King Rex. I would say it's the revamped version of Rex Raptor's dinosaur monsters. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon double-headed Dino King Rex once per turn this way. If it's normal or special summon, you can target a monster on the field with less attack than the total attack of all dinosaur monsters you control and destroy it. You can only use this effect of double-headed Dino King Rex once per turn. So being another easy special summon onto the field, we also have more of a way to have a setup for destruction of our opponent's cards instead of just having to flip them face down, with our next big boss monster being our Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. It cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard. And once per turn during the main phase, you can destroy 1 monster in your hand or field to change all face-up monsters your opponent control to face-down defense position. So then it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each as well, and then every time it attacks a defense monster, inflict 1,000 points of burn damage to it also. So you have the banish play. So if you get lucky and banish, let's say, the Yugioh, that's just another special summon resource back onto the field for you to then summon, giving you that search for the polymerization or adding it back to the graveyard if it's summoned off of the banish. And also 2 copies of Petite Pterodon. If this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon a level 4 lower dinosaur from your deck, but it cannot attack this turn. So the attack restriction really isn't a problem, because most of the time all the dinosaurs that we summon from our hand or main deck are going to be used for another resource, whether it be for a bigger dinosaur or an extra deck monster as well. With the last of the 2 being 2 copies of Dino Wrestler Pankratops, fresh off the ban list, and now 2, just another good hand trap option to be able to special summon onto the field, giving us once again another dinosaur to summon out, but also a destruction play to quick effect tribute a Dino Wrestler monster, which is Pankratops himself, to target a card our opponent controls and destroy it. With the one-ofs for our dinosaur monsters, being the one copy of an Amadorn Archosaurus. If it's normal or special summon, you can destroy a dinosaur in your hand or face up on the field, except for this card, add a reptile, sea serpent, or wing beast monster with the same original level as that destroyed monster, or one evolution pill spell from our deck to our hand. So we are just adding the evolution pill spell with this card, being able to banish a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur, which we grab the non-dinosaurs either from our hand trap lineup or some of the extra deck monsters that we also run in the deck. Also one Miscellaneosaurus, another dinosaur that we can search out, discard to then banish, protecting our dinosaur monsters, and grab an Amadorn Archosaurus from our deck to our hand also. Also the one giant Rex for the same banish play to special summon on the field as Yugioh, and also the one Zudomosaurus for another monster to have a destruction play for our cards, and also being able to be protected by our opponent if we have another dinosaur monster. The last of the main deck monsters that we run are the 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. If you have this card early on and you discard it to stop your opponent's search or setup, you are also given another monster that is a non-dinosaur in your graveyard to use with your double evolution pill. That is it for the main deck monsters. We will now move on to the spells. Now, for the spells, I'm running 2 copies of Lost World. Now, this card can be searched, which is why we're only running the 2 copies off of our Horned Saurus and placed into the field spell zone. It's not activated, it's just placed, which is very good because then that also means we can also get around the activation restriction of the Seal of Orichalcos. Now, this card was also used by Rex Raptor, so being able to avoid the special summon play when placed with Horned Saurus, since it says when this card is activated, but when you use Horned Saurus, it just places the field spell in the field spell zone, so you get around the activation restriction, not losing any of your special summon monsters. So I like to run 2 in 1 just so you can choose which field spell you want to go for. For more of an attack boost play, you are restricted with the extra deck, but then you do have other ways to at least have an attack boost to your other dinosaur monsters on the field, giving you the all power full, 4,000 attack, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno on top of everything else. I also run 3 copies of Fossil Dig, just being able to grab any level 6 or lower dinosaur monsters, and once again, including our new Yugioh to summon out onto the field. The 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill, just giving us a level 7 or higher dinosaur monster, so the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, ignoring the summoning conditions. The 1 copy of Beta Evolution Pill, just for summoning out our double-headed King Rex as well with this card onto the field. 1 Jurassic Power, all dinosaur monsters gain 300 attack, and you can normal summon 1 level 5 or higher without tributing, so once again, bigger monsters on the field for you to use. And then also the 1 Polymerization, it can be searched from the deck thanks to Yugioh, and then added back from the graveyard when it's banished and special summoned. And then also 1 copy of Foolish Burial, and 1 copy of Call by the Grave, just for more of the generic spell lineup. And then for the traps, I run 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, along with the Ash Blossom, just another additional hand trap to run in your lineup to stop any of your opponent's monster effects on the field. And moving on to the extra deck, for the new fusion monster, we're running 2 copies of Horned Saurus, needing a Yugioh and a dinosaur or dragon monster. It can attack directly. The turn it is special summoned, being a 2,000 attack point direct monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Horned Saurus once per turn. If it's fusion summon, you can place a field spell from your deck or graveyard face up in your field zone, and during your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 dinosaur or dragon monster. Giving you that additional normal summon means that if you had to use Yugioh for your first normal summon onto the field to get the Polymerization search, having that additional normal summon means you can grab other cards like Soul Eating Oviraptor and continue your dinosaur summons onto the field thanks to the additional normal summon of Horned Saurus. Giving us the recycle power also for our Polymerization means I also like to run 1 Predaplant Dragostapelia and 1 Guardian Chimera, having the Polymerization bonus thanks to Guardian Chimera, and also having the Dark Monster option thanks to Soul Eating Oviraptor to fuse with Stapelia with this monster and our Horned Saurus being the fusion monster to use as well. For the Xyz monsters, I run the 1 copy of Evil Zorlagia, the 1 copy of Evil Zordolka, actually, sorry, 2 copies of Evil Zordolka. I knew I moved 1 to 2 copies and it was just the Dolka, along with 1 copy of Baguska and the 1 copy of Zeus to line up the Xyz monsters, with our Link monsters being the 1 Transcendosaurus Exoraptor. Now, the double-headed King Rex can help to summon this card out, just giving us 1 additional resource to then also summon out onto the field thanks to this card. 1 Reprodocus, 1 Link Karibo, along with 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and the 1 Soldier of Chaos for our lineup. If you didn't want to run Soldier of Chaos, you can always put in a Link 4 to use with the Transcendosaurus Exoraptor's additional monster to summon out onto the field. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as I said, with the additional dinosaurs that you may have in your hand, if you open up with your Kytoptera, and let's say you have one of your searchers being your Fossil Dig in your hand, and then just the one Soul Eating Oviraptor, you have a setup for a pretty good dinosaur lineup, being able to then summon out your Kytoptera using its card effect to add a polymerization from your deck to your hand. So then with this card, you'll add polymerization. You can then also activate the Fossil Dig to grab you one more additional dinosaur monster for your play. Now, depending on which one you want to summon out, you can either go for the additional graveyard search, or you can grab the Miscellaneousaurus for this play. Now with this play, you can avoid the discard of the Miscellaneousaurus, because now you have these three monsters and the polymerization in your hand for that summon. You can then use the polymerization, fusing the Kytoptera on the field with the Miscellaneousaurus in your hand. It'll take away from the protection of Miscellaneousaurus, but you are going first for the summon at least. So then you can summon out your Hornsaurus onto the field. It can attack directly, but once again, you went first for this play, but then you can use its other effect to place one field spell. So then you can activate it doesn't activate, it just places the Lost World, giving the additional boost to your dinosaur monsters. If a dinosaur monster is normal or special summon, you can special summon the Dirac Egg token to your opponent's field and defense as well. So then they cannot target monsters on the field with card effects, giving you that additional protection on top of everything else. You can then gain the additional normal summon of your Horned Saurus as well. So you can summon out your Soul Eating Oviraptor. You can then use this card's effect to take one level 4 lower dinosaur monster, and then have the monster take it and either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. So with this card, you can either send the Giant Rex as well for this to the graveyard, and then use the effect of the Miscellaneousaurus, banishing it, and the Kytoptera for the monster resources to use, to then summon out a level 2 monster, being the Baby Ceratosaurus, onto the field, and then the effect of Kytoptera will summon it back onto the field. Also, you already give your opponent the Dirac Egg token, thanks to this also. You can then use the Soul Eating Oviraptor, destroying your Baby Ceratosaurus monster, to then summon from your deck the Enamored Archidorn. This card, when it's summoned, you can destroy one dinosaur monster in your hand or face on the field, except for this card to add one reptile winged beast monster of the same original level as that destroyed monster, or the one evolution pill. So since you went first, we've already used the Hornsaurus, so you could destroy it, to then add the double evolution pill as well for this summon. You have the pill in your hand. You have only the dinosaur monsters, remember that, but you do have the Enamored Archosaurus, which you can then use for a Link 1 play, giving you the Link Karibo onto the field, and then you can go for the additional Link 2 play. If you wish, you either have the Link Karibo play, or once again, just the added resource to overlay into your Evil Zor summon, depending on which one you may have wanted to summon out there, or having the double evolution pill. Works more when you go second against your opponent. You can either play the defensive play with the Link Karibo and the Dolka you were given, having more resources to banish as well, since when you detach off of the Kytoptera, don't forget it adds the polymerization back from your graveyard to your hand for you to then reuse as well, giving you either a play the following turn for another fusion summon, but then you also have the Link Karibo to tribute, and have for the following turn to then use as a banish with one of your other dinosaur monsters. So if you do detach the Kytoptera, it could be another one of those banishes for the double evolution pill to then summon out your Ultimate Conductor Tyrannosaurus, summoning back Kytoptera as well onto the field. And then if you have the means for the summon with any other additional resource, use the polymerization for one more fusion play. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. Very fun look at the Rex Raptor deck, and as I said before, for the fun twist, just having a way around the restrictions for the Seal of Orichalcos makes an additional fun tech to use in the deck for some of the plays that Rex Raptor used from the Waking the Dragons anime. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.